So just as a trigger warning for anybody that needs it, these poems that I'm going to be reading are based off of, some of it is sexual trauma, some of it is inpatient stays. If I have time, I'll read as much as I can. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first one. I walked for 2 miles alone tonight to buy a pack of cigarettes in a neighborhood known for hookers and gunshots. The heat was more bearable than the thoughts rushing through my head like a newly dug oil well, viscous and unwelcome. The further I got from the safety of home's walls and locks, the deeper my regret. But I kept walking, every passing car an unknown danger, every moving shadow waiting to spring out and grab me. My hood pulled low over my head, I focused on my gait, trying my best to swagger as a man. My heart booming in my chest so loudly it rang in my ears. By the time I reached my destination, my hands were pouring sweat and trembling with anxiety. But I made it. As I made my way towards the counter, an angel spoke behind me. "Do you need a ride?" Uncertain at first, I stammered my reply, that I was just buying some smokes. She looked concerned. You could see the sincerity in her face as her brow furrowed. I know what it's like to not have a car, and it's dangerous to walk out this late. I thought a moment more. It's hard to trust a stranger in my experiences, but I accepted, grateful that I wouldn't have to walk back home alone. So I made it back home safe and sound. To those graceful angels out there, you wonderful Samaritans, I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart. The world desperately needs more of you. Busy streets and busy lives. Every morning, organized chaos ensues. Burning coffee pours hot on sleepy lips. Sweet smells on drowsy air. Sprinkles of dreams on weary minds. The darkness is mist. A distant memory as dawn's abrasive alarms chime to wake the sleeping pawns. Cool night rains crying over rooftops. Cars sighing heavily through tar rivers. Street lights buzzing like the insects that beat their heavy bodies against them until a rage of tomorrow's dawn. Choruses of cicadas soon to be forgotten at summer's end, only to be replaced by the autumn's winds. Silence and longing howls of distant hounds. I'll miss these night songs. Texas, 4800. California, 4150. Georgia, 1013. Too often, I am just another code. So we have a new patient in the ward. I can't recall his name. I'm pretty sure he has delusions of grandeur to an extreme. He's a trip. Makes a lot of really colorful jokes, and I love him for it. He's harmless, but really loud, so not everyone here is able to tolerate him. Lately, he's been going on about how he's a billionaire. He says he funded Donald Trump, while in almost the same breath swears up and down he would never allow him on a single one of his new 60-inch curved screens. So far, he has a Bugatti, a Maserati, and a bulletproof glass house on spinners. I couldn't even begin to know what that means. He has 2 godlike statuesque bodyguards, one from Texas, which he insists I date, and boy does he love Jesus. He's always singing hymns and talking about being saved. He also knows sign language and signs along to every song he sings. And when he's not talking, he's singing. He's very manic. He's been trying to convince me to be his driver, even though I told him I don't drive, because he wants to take care of me. He told me he'd introduce me to Simon Cowell, whom he is in competition with to see who can have the most Bugattis. He's actually really a very sweet person. I'm angry at some of the other patients right now because they keep making fun of him. It's like making fun of a cancer patient for having cancer. I think he took a shine to me because I was the first to introduce myself to him. He was crying when he came in, and I made a rule for myself a long time ago to make new patients feel welcome, because I know how lonely and scary it is to be the new person in a ward. You don't know what this one is going to be like because all wards are different, with different rules and staff and patients, and not every ward is safe. You don't get to choose where you're going. It's a roll of the dice. Inpatient is not a vacation resort or retreat. There's not much funding for these places, so a lot of the time they're run down. There's just a lot of uncertainty about how your treatment is going to go because there are so many unknown factors. So when he came in, I knew I had to keep my rule. I simply introduced myself to him and told him he was welcome and safe because I had been here long enough to gauge the place. And I just listened to him after that. I could tell he was grateful to have someone to talk to. I really hope the treatment helps him.
Thank you.